Now, the moment you hear exit strategy, most times people start identifying that with leaving places. You can exit and be strategic in exiting without leaving. And sometimes people have left relationships, jobs, businesses, business relationships. They have left certain marketplace and ministry endeavors because they thought they were supposed to exit the place, when in actuality, they were supposed to exit the grace. Because some graces are not perpetual. Some graces are provisional. Some graces are sufficient for the times. Some graces God gives you, and they are assignment attached. And when that assignment is over, that grace is gone. And so what we have to do is develop a level of sensitivity to understand that and know how to move with the level of supernatural agility that's necessary to be able to go and be where God is. Say this with me. Say, the most dangerous place in the world is where God was. You want to be where God is in real time. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. And so today I want to talk to you about an exit strategy. As a matter of fact, this interrogative, write this down. Do we have the code yet? Okay, in a few minutes. In a few minutes, you guys won't have to do so much writing because we're going to have a QR code up there and you're going to scan it and you're going to have the outline, okay? But I want to talk to you about this interrogative statement. What is your exit strategy? And for a subtopic, here's what I want you to write down. How to discern when to release, restructure, reposition, or reinvent, I'll say it over, without losing relevance. How to discern. Because this is something people can't teach you. You have to supernaturally or spiritually have that divine intuition called discernment to be able to detect when something is over. When to release, restructure, reposition, or reinvent without losing relevance. Are we on the same page? Now, Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, to everything there is a what? A season. And a what? To what? Every purpose under the heavens. Now, in the Septuagint is the Greek version of the Old Testament. Of the Septuagint, these words are inverted because we read it in the King James Version as season and time. But in the Septuagint, it's actually time and season, because when we look at it like this, we would think it's kairos chronos. But in the Septuagint, it is chronos kairos. Let me break that down for you. These are two Greek words for time. Now, chronos is where we get the English word chronology. It's when things happen in chronological order. It speaks of the succession of moments like the tick-tock on the wristwatch. Does that make sense? But kairos deals with a divine opportunity that you don't wait for, you make happen. Does that make sense? Where you put stuff in motion to make the moment count. Because daily you're looking for spaces and opportunities to make stuff happen. We call it in modern vernacular, making moves. And kairos opens up a window within time where a grace is available to have sweatless victory. Make sense? But there is a moment in time for that. And if you miss the moment, you end up wasting a lot of minutes because you won't have the wherewithal to get stuff done. Write this down and say it while you're writing. Say, opportunity comes with a shelf life. You got to seize it when you see it. And that's why those who are slothful and lazy will ultimately miss the moment, because you're waiting for the right time for stuff to happen instead of maximizing the time to make stuff happen, because it'll never be the proper moment. Would you turn with me to Ecclesiastes 11 real quick? This has nothing to do with the lesson. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. I don't talk about what I don't know. All right? Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after what? Go to the second verse. Give a portion to 7 and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. I'm going to break this down in a minute. Go to the third verse. If the clouds are full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. If the tree fall toward the south or toward the north, in the place wherein the tree falleth, there it shall be. Go to the fourth verse. He that observeth the wind shall not what? And he that regardeth the cloud shall not what? Now, if you look at this metaphoric language from a meteorological perspective, he's trying to show you that getting stuff done, specifically sowing seeds financially, is equivalent to hydrology, wherein the clouds are water suspended in air that ultimately becomes agitated enough to create precipitation and release water on the earth until the sun comes out and evaporates it and it sends it back up, and it's just an ongoing process. You catch that? He's saying that's how sowing is. He's saying, but if you keep looking at the conditions like it's about to rain, so you don't want to do anything, you'll never get anything done. Because stuff is going to happen regardless. But it's up to you to make stuff happen while stuff is happening. Which simply means this: life will never stop lifing. But if you don't create you a life in the midst of life will keep lifing without you, and you will never have a life. Make sense? And so go to the 5th verse. As thou knowest not what the way of the Spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so thou knowest not the works of God who make it all. You're sitting up, trepidatious, filled with anxiety, looking at the anticipated or potential result, only to find that you are stagnated, doing nothing, because you are dealing with the could've, would'ves, and should'ves, and something could have happened had you made something happen, but since you didn't do anything, you didn't reap anything. How many of us have talked ourselves out of what God's been trying to walk you into? Because it ain't the right time. Because I don't have the education. Because my credit is bad. Because I don't have the savings account. Because I did not go to that particular school of higher learning. Because I don't have the connections. What do you need all that for when you got a word? If God gave you the green light and said, go, what are you waiting on? But go back to the 4th verse again. He that observeth the wind shall not do anything. If you keep looking for favorable conditions to get stuff done, you're going to miss your moment. I want you to lay hands on yourself and say, self, we have missed too many moments in this life. In this season, we're going to have the open eyes of the Spirit, where we're going to see moments, and we're going to have the tenacity necessary to maximize the moment that we see. Say, we'll never miss another moment again. And tell yourself another thing. Say, self, I'm sensing there's another season coming for us, which is why we got to get together now, because we can't wait till later to prepare for the moment, because when the moment comes, there's no grace for preparation. Am I helping y'all yet? Now, I want you to write this down. I hope this blesses you. I won't even charge you for it. When preparation meets opportunity, manifestation is the end result. You know what that means? It means I got to start practicing on this side for what I've been telling God I want to get on that side. And here is the question, Christians. Have you been preparing for what you've been praying for? God, I want $1 million. God, and I know you're going to make me a millionaire. Well, you ain't even saved to become a $5 heir yet. Why would he give you $1 million and you can't save 5? Am I helping y'all? Oh, come on, preachers. Oh, I want to preach all over the world. But you don't study in Shreveport. I want to, bless your son, I want to be an entrepreneur. But you don't even show up on that man's job on time. What are you preparing for? Because if you are continuously exemplifying futility, you will never shift into fertility, which means you're going to stay dead and you'll never produce anything living. And at some point, you got to fall out with you. You got to become sick of you. And you got to have a talk with yourself. I've been sharing with people lately that the problem with this whole concept of discipline and consistency is that we look for comfort and we look for ease and we look for pleasantry to be in our environment and our surroundings to ultimately be the becker that becks us to come. And when we see that, we feel like that's going to produce the end result. But here's the truth of the matter. Discipline and consistency is made of discomfort and pain and inconvenience. It's made of everything you don't want to do, because doing what you don't want to do gets you what you want to have. Who am I helping now? I can tell because you're quiet. You've got to fall in love with the pain associated with your process of greatness. And until you fall in love with pain, you're going to forever look for ease. And what has ease been getting you? At some point, we have got to get to the other side. Let's go to Isaiah 43, 18 and 19. Am I helping you yet? Isaiah 43 and 19. It says, remember ye not the what? Because you're not there. Remember ye not. And some of y'all say, like I don't know what you're saying. Remember ye not the what? Former things, and remember not, and consider not what? Now, the way to properly read this, because if not, Pastor BJ, what's going to happen is you think there is redundancy within the scripture. Because it looks as if on top of the surface, former things is synonymous with old things. But the reason that cannot be is because they put the definite article in front of it. When you see THE, it distinguishes this from any other thing. So former things, watch this, are things that were okay for the moment. Old things are things that are no longer relevant. Are y'all, you still with me? But it can't be that broad either. Because I should not have to disassociate myself or forget all former things. Because if I forget everything former, I won't be able to detect what's going on contemporarily. Because sometimes it's my knack for knowing stuff from my past that helps me deal with your foolishness in my present. Am I talking? So why would he tell me to forget everything I know? No, the former, which means the stuff that's no longer necessary for where you are. But watch this. The things of old. Now, remember and consider are not synonymous either. Remember means to apply and walk in. Consider means to ponder upon. There are some things you need to forget. And there are other things that you don't need to let take up space in your head that ain't paying you rent. Like some people who you make more important than your present and your future. Who's in your head taking up space but ain't paying you no rent. And you stalking them on social media, riding by their house, talking about them to somebody else, Always got a problem. Why would you let somebody be that important? That's supposed to be a former thing. But we don't talk about people. What about the stuff that you know is hindering your progress, but you will not let go of it? You know you keep retaining water because you eating pig, but you more in love with the hog than life. Who am I helping? Oh, but God gonna heal me. No, he ain't. No, he will let you die and go to heaven and love you because it's a choice. Say this with me. Say, my life. Oh, you're gonna cuss. Say, my life is the sum total of the choices I've made. Look at your neighbors. It has nothing to do with you. And I'm apologizing to you because I've been blaming some stuff on you. But it's all about me. Say, it's the enemy in me. Am I helping you yet? So what I've got to learn to do, if that's the case, is make better choices. But you know why I can't make better choices? Because I don't make decisions. Hold on, Bishop, that's redundant. Nope, it's not. A choice suggests that you're at an inflection point, and there's more than one way to go, and there's more than one alternative. But a decision is a resolve that simply states, I can no longer go where I've been, do what I've been doing, and I've got to do something different. But because I never display the discipline needed to make a decision, I'm always making faulty choices. That's why you heard me say for years, you never marry the wrong person. You never get in a relationship with the wrong person because you chose them. Now, you may have made the wrong choice, but you chose that. Am I helping you? I can tell because you ain't saying nothing. I want you to look at Genesis 12:1. This is hard. Just 12:1. Now the Lord said to who? Get thee out of what? And from what? And from what? Unto what? Okay, so watch this. Let's dissect this. First of all, what are we used to him being called? Come on, y'all, you got it right. Come on, what is it? But he does not call him Abraham here. Abraham means father of many. Abram means exalted father. It means someone who knows who they're going to be already, although they're not. But he said, in order for you, here's the intimation, to become Abraham, you got to do something while you're still Abram. And you know what you got to do? Leave familiar surroundings. Here's the hardest thing for us to do. And leave your kin people. You know why? Because they grew up with Abram. And the moment you start calling yourself Abraham, they're going to remind you of your Abram days. The moment you try to rise above being Abram is the moment they're going to label you as acting funny. And so sometimes in order for you to burgeon and grow into the person you've been called to be, you've got to remove yourself from familiarity. Now, it's not all about the kindred not liking you, coming against you, persecuting you. Sometimes it's about the kindred doing what's familiar to you. And when they continuously do what's familiar, you're going to be prone to do it too. Because this is how we've always done it. And so it hurts, it's uncomfortable, it creates dis-ease, but sometimes we've got to get around people who challenge us to become a better version of us. Am I helping you? And now, here is what's very important. Oh, okay then. All right. See, I got to get, they familiar with me. I got to get away from them because I can't be bishop around them. So he said, and from thy what? From thy, come on, y'all read. From thy what? Because you're in such a familiar place until you become pigeonholed. And being pigeonholed simply means that you're expected to do something one way and people don't even give you the credence to be able to do it another way. But he said, here is what I want you to do. Here is the trade-off. Just start walking and I'm going to show you where to go. Oh, no, God, we got a problem. Had you given me the specific destination, then I could have started walking. But he says, I just want you to start walking. Let me prove to you that Abraham still didn't get it, because he comes back and takes a journey away from the land of Ur, walking towards this imaginary land, but he takes his nephew with him because he wants somebody familiar. Can I share with you something? Can I share something with you? Can we talk like we family? You better start congregating with folk who have something to lose. Because folk who ain't got nothing to lose will lose what you have to lose for you. And Lot had nothing to lose. Because Lot didn't get no word, Abram did. And so wherever Lot went, he was walking with Abram's word. And there came a time when a quarrel took place, and the people within their congregation became so quarrelsome until they had to divide themselves. Simply because he didn't obey God in the first place. Now I want you to get this. He did not have an exit strategy. Had he followed the exit strategy of God, he never would have had to break up with his nephew. May I suggest something to you? Some folk we break up with, we would have never had to break up with had we just separated ourselves from them when God said it. Because together doesn't always mean forever, and forever don't always mean together. Sometimes you got to love each other enough to get away from each other. But familiarity is stronger than a magnet, because I don't like being in unfamiliar places. And being in these familiar places sometimes drain me of the grace that God's trying to place upon me. Now I want you to write this down for exit strategy. Do we have the code yet, or do I have to keep going like this? Okay, there it is. Y'all got it? Do you see the definition for exit strategy? Y'all see it? Okay, now I want you to look at one of the problematic things that'll kill your exit strategy: stagnation. Because stagnation is the absence of growth, or the antithesis of growth, and it will let you continue in futile and fruitless activity, but do nothing that produces results in productivity. Because I'm stagnated. This is the way I've always done it. This is how it's always supposed to be done, and I'm not trying to do anything else. Now, stagnation leads to misalignment. You want to know why? Because God is always moving. God is not in the midst of building monuments. He's in the midst of creating movements. And so even when you get too lazy to move and you stay and become stagnant, everything around you starts moving. And now you become a relic and you become irrelevant. Which is why I'm always talking to you about reinventing yourselves. Because while you're sleeping, society is advancing. Watch this. At this juncture, if you still using AI to correct your text and create your emails, you are light years behind. I go further. At this juncture, if all you know is ChatGPT, you like the dumb kid in class. I'm not trying to be tacky. I'm not. But I am trying to get your attention. Because no matter how wonderful you think Chat is the lowest on the totem pole now. And watch this. If you don't have a paid version of AI, it means you ain't ready to invest in your future yet. And some of you are still arguing with AI, saying it's the devil, but you keep letting it print up your prayers. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Woo! Can we talk? Tell Chat how you talk, so you can stop stumbling over stuff, because that ain't how you talk. Okay. Woo! If looks could kill. I'm here to help you, not harm you or hinder you. And I'm not here to put you down. I'm trying to raise you up. And I think it's important for me to share. Give me my time, superstar. I think it's important for me to, is it no? Okay. I think it's important for me to share this, that AI is meant to be a refiner and a researcher, but not a replacement. And the problem with a lot of us, we're letting it think for us because we were lazy thinkers in the first place. And the more you let AI think for you, the more you dummy yourself down. Am I helping y'all? I can tell because you're quiet. So misalignment means I'm in a current season, operating a current assignment, but it doesn't match my capacity, my calling, and my season. Because I've been stagnated and I wasn't moving, and now I'm no longer relevant. And whenever you, say this with me, say whenever you cease to be relevant, you take the risk of becoming a relic. And so we have to know when it's time to exit something. And anytime you refuse to exit something, watch this, you simultaneously by default refuse to allow somebody to enter something. Do you know some of y'all are hindering somebody else's promotion because you don't see yourself great enough to take the job? And many times you got to go up so somebody don't stay down. And when you won't exit, not only do you hinder someone else's progress or impede upon their progress, but you take the risk of contaminating the entire project. Because I'm out of place, which means I'm out of grace. I no longer know the pace, even though I'm staying in this space, and now everything is thrown off in that place. Am I helping you? And so I need an exit strategy. Say this with me. Say, I need to know how to move when it's time to move. And sometimes moving with God is like a sharecropper. No, sharecroppers had to leave at night. And sometimes you got to pack light when you're moving with God because he's like the wind. He's always moving. So let me give you 4 quick exit strategies before we get out of here. Well, I got about a minute. I ain't even got no minute. I got 3 minutes. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. But first thing I want you to get is you got to release the exit. You got to release it. Anybody ever rode on the highway before and missed your exit and thought it was as simple as catching the next one? And the next one took you somewhere off your route and you didn't know how to get back there? Now, you can miss an exit in Shreveport. You can't miss no exit in Dallas. Okay? So I want you to write this down. Oh, it may be, okay, it may already be on your handout. I'm not sure. But releasing your exit says, I'm completely detaching myself from this structure, from this system, or from this role. Regardless of whether you say to me, ain't nobody like you, ain't nobody do it like, we gonna miss you. You know, you the one that can get it done. No, I'm the one that used to get it done. Because I gotta go. Because I no longer have joy in doing this. I'm no longer fulfilled in this role. And watch this. Now that I'm hungry for something else, but yet it's not being given, I'm about to be hangry. And I'm going to mess everybody up on my row. See what I'm saying? Because I didn't release the exit. Here's some practical steps. You got to identify in your life, not in mine. Because you're good at talking about what I shouldn't do. What about you? You ever notice fat folk talk about people need a diet? We need a diet. You do hair in your hair nappy. What? Oh, you the mechanic and your car on the side of the road? Identify what has ended in your life. Touch your neighbor and just don't touch. Look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, I have something for you. This is going to change your life. Find your lane, get out of my lane, and stay there. Just stay right there. Problem is, you keep coming in mine. But watch this. You got to remove emotional dependency. Because sometimes we become married to systems. And yes, it was productive in the last season, but it don't work now. And you got to know how to move, and you have to know how to shift. Do you know there was a time when Mother Abner and everybody be passing y'all out sheets of paper? Why do we want to ruin more trees when you stand on your phone in church anyway? Just point it toward the screen. Am I helping you? But then you got to communicate your closure clearly and early. Because see, God don't wake you up, be like, you know what, man? What up, God? I think we ought to just quit today. You think that? God, I've been thinking the same thing. I ain't even going back. That's not how God works. If God's shifting you out of something, he's going to do it properly, and it's going to be in a process progressively. Can we talk real quick? There are several ways you can end an assignment. Number one, you can get fired. Number two, you can resign. But then number three, you can be replaced. But then number four, you can simply go AWOL. And what's really sad is, no matter how bad we say we are, because you know I can say everything I say 2 or 3 times. But when you get mad, you just don't show up no more. How bold is that? Well, y'all got so quiet then. Your exit strategy has to be communicated. You can't just stop showing up because you don't feel like it anymore. And here is what I want to give you, how you know your season is up of doing something. Because they can't offer you nothing to stay. I say this to people, I've been doing it 30 years. Pastor Jake said, I've been doing it 30 years. They come to me, they say, Bishop, I think my season's up. I need a sabbatical. And I say, you don't even know what that means. Well, y'all get so spiritual when y'all get saved. Y'all take sabbaticals and seasons. I think my autumn, spring, fall, winter, and summer is over. Watch this, though, guys. Here's what I do. I say, I'm so sorry. Can you tell me what the problem is with such and such? And I say this, B. I say, well, what if I such? Yeah. You'll stay in? Yeah. That's how I know you're lying. Because when your season is up, ain't nothing they can offer you. Because your peace is the... Lord have mercy. Your peace is disturbed. And let me help you with peace. No minutes. No jelly. Nothing? Okay. Let's talk about peace. No, I'm not. I'm not. This is going to feed into something. Smart lady. Your peace is disturbed. But if you relegate peace, watch this, to comfort, you'll miss peace. If you relegate peace to the absence of conflict, you'll miss peace. Because peace is not the absence of conflict, it's the acceptance of conflict. It means, I don't care what you do, it may be bugs on all you mugs, but ain't no bugs on me. Because I'm not going to let you hijack what I internally have the ability to adjust the thermostat and shift. Touch your neighbor and say, I got my thermostat on the lock and key. Now, I'm speaking for me, because I can go from 0 to 1,000. I come in here every Sunday with a donkey and a horse. And if you miss that sermon, let me tell you what that means. If a king come in with a donkey, he coming in peace. If he come in a horse, he coming in war. Jesus had both of them. He said they can go either way. Now, I'd rather do donkeys. Oh, but I can go to war. But watch this. I won't let you make me go to war. I make that choice. Because when I realize you're not worthy of my peace, how I get that? The Lord gave me 15 minutes. Oh, look at the sign, BJ. Raise it up again. Look at it. The Lord. Phoenix, why are you looking at me like the Lord can't give me 15 minutes? We're in Q&A, guys. Okay, we're in Q&A. Any I'll come back next time and deal with the second one. Questions, comments, concerns. Come on. We specifically carved out these 15 minutes for you. Let's talk about it. I'm about to feel like he moved. Skeeter, the Lord's moving. He giving minutes. Y'all better get them prepaid phones up and just lift them up like that. He giving minutes. So here. Go ahead, son. Hold on. Let's get the mic over there.
On the outline, it says signs. It's time to exit. When growth stops, no longer stretching, just repeating. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
So you trying to move down?
Oh no, not necessarily. I was just
no. So you trying to mess up my sessions for the next couple of weeks?
Oh no. Oh, I didn't know that it was. No, sir.
Since you asked, there are signs that can come that are indicative of the fact that your season is up. But you got to be careful with that, though, son, because what'll happen is sometimes you will see things manifesting, feel things manifesting, feel people acting different, moving different, start feeling like a stranger in the place, stranger in your space, stranger in your grace, but you keep forgetting the stuff you did. Because if you're no longer who you are and who you were, now you're contributing to things being thrown off. Can we honestly say that when folk act funny with us, we don't be like, oh, boo, I can match energy? And that's not God. It's your job to do what you can do and expect God to do what you can't do. But see, anytime I start acting indifferent, and now I'm matching their energy, and now it's creating an alternate reality, and I start seeing stuff that's not there. When the truth be told, and I've watched this happen. I've watched this happen in real time throughout my tenure in church as a lay member, as a leader, and now as a senior leader. Because when we come in places, we come in with that fresh zeal and that utopian concept that this place is different from the other places. Let me burst your bubble. It's just like the other places because it's filled with the same kind of people, and people do people stuff. And church is the perfect place for imperfect people with your critical self, and you psychotic and you don't do nothing right yourself, but you talk about everybody else. Oh, okay. I was in a meeting then. But the reality is this: do what you're supposed to do. And maybe you're continually doing what you're supposed to do will eventually make them do what they ought to do. But if you stop doing, because they stop doing, you can ultimately find yourself in a misconstrued place where you are perceiving a season to be up. I'm coming back to your question, son. Perceiving a season to be up. Now, the antithesis of that is this. Sometimes the season is just up. And you got to be ready to put stuff in place. I want y'all to capture this main thing. If your season is really up in a place, a job, a ministry, a relationship, whatever the case may be, what first thing you want to do is leave it better than you found it. See, if I'm done with you, I can cake you while I'm leaving you. So you ain't got nothing to put a hold over my head. Who am I helping? If I'm done with the assignment, I can stay here and create the curriculum and the vision and the steps, look for a replacement, train them before I go, because ain't nothing you can offer me no way, I'm gone. But by the mere fact you don't do that is indicative of the fact that you're moving out of season. Did it help you, son? Thank you for that question. Because I know you were just helping me because folk wouldn't say nothing. Thank you, son. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Bishop Mason, I just...
Hold on. No. God had gave me 15. A day with the Lord is as 1,000 years. Go ahead. You said God gave me time. Go ahead.
Bishop, I don't have a question. I just wanted to share a testimony. Years ago when we were Temple of Deliverance, I had a dream about a plant that no matter how much I watered it, it was dry. And I felt that my season was up at Impact Church. At Temple of Deliverance. And after meeting with you, you said that had it been a field that it would have been. But since it was a plant, it was individual. And you had me sit down for a season rather than leave. And I just wanted to share that.
Yep, because you weren't watering your stuff. And I'm not being comical. Because what happens, guys, is we develop tunnel vision when stuff happens to us. And we don't have the ability to look binocularly and see things from a dynamic perspective where I'm looking at what's happening to you, what you're doing, and what's happening to me and what I'm doing. Most times I just look objectively on what you're doing. But what did I do in response to what you did? Because now we're both messing things up. Anybody else? God still giving minutes? Okay. Listen, I want you to look at this. Let's go to the next one, guys, okay? As a matter of fact, let me end with this reflective question. Here is what I want you to say this out loud. Say, what am I holding on to that God has already released me from? Now, if you look at the handout, I always give suggestive answers. Anything that no longer produces growth, clarity, or grace. If it's in your life and it doesn't stimulate you to grow anymore, you have probably outgrown that. Specifically, people. But can I tell you why we stay around people who don't challenge us? Because we don't like to be challenged. And sometimes we like fans and not friends. A fan tells you how wonderful you are. A friend will say, boo, you too big for that. Have you looked at yourself? Bruh, you can't do that. Am I helping? Guess I'm not, because y'all got so quiet on that. Number 2, the restructure exit. Say the restructure exit. You know what that means? It means I don't leave. I just rearrange some stuff. Because sometimes it's not about me leaving it. Sometimes I'm called to it. I'm just not called to do what I've been doing with it. Because what I'm doing with it is no longer relevant. And you got to be careful with this, particularly those of us who are getting up in age. Because we will feel like nobody can master it like we can. Yeah, nobody used to could master it like you. But because you're not remaining relevant, because you're not constantly trying to seek out new ways to do things more effectively and efficiently, you will find yourself becoming a relic, and life and the ministry and the marketplace endeavor and the people around you passing you by. Here's my question. You don't have to answer it. How much time do you spend trying to be current? Or are you stuck in what my spiritual grandfather calls frozen success? Because it was wonderful in the 90s. But what is it doing for you in the millennium? What is it doing for you in 2026? How is it really working for you? What are your sacred cows you won't touch? What are you not willing to uproot and pluck up and then replant? Because the reality is this. Say this with me. Say there's a new reality that I have to grasp. that every 10 years, my body undergoes an anatomical change. You don't believe me? Your 20s ain't like your 30s. And your 30s ain't like your 40s. Your 40s is not like your 50s. And your 60s will have you looking for your keys in your hand. Am I talking? Because you undergo changes. Here is my question though. How are you changing with the changes? Or are you constantly doing the same thing? I can always tell people who don't like change because you always have the same old conversation. Jesus, every time we get together, we got to laugh off of remember when. And remember when is the lowest form of dialogue you can ever have. My cheeks start hurting. I'm sick of laughing. What are we going to do now? And how are we applying what we did do to what we're supposed to do? But the restructuring sometimes is difficult because I always think exiting means, I don't have time. Oh, okay. Write down Exodus 18:21. I don't have time to go there. I don't have time to go there. Moses was using an effective system in times of antiquity where, and y'all would put it, don't put it on the screen, please, because I'm going to read it. Please. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. Take it off. Thank you. Moses was using an effective system that was relevant for that time, that antiquated time. And it was working because he would get out there, guys. Watch this. And from sun up to sundown, he would judge people. It ain't our kind of judging. It means whenever they had a problem, he would solve their problems. And he would do that from sun up to sundown. What you got to get is over 1 million people. His father-in-law sees him, who's a Midian priest, and said, hold on, bruh. What are you doing to the people? No, you didn't hear what I just said. He didn't say, Moses, what are you doing to you? What are you doing to the people? In other words, your system has become so ineffective that you're getting ready to start stifling these people. Because let me tell you what's going to happen by default. Because you can't give everybody the same credence. So now folk going to start having infighting and bickering because you spent more time with one than you did with the other. And some folk you ain't talked to yet. And now they feel like you don't like them. And now they got a problem with the folk they think you're partial towards. And he said, what are you doing to these people? He said, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to find able men, 70, and I want you to lay your hands on them. And I want you to put your spirit into them. And I want you, watch this, to let them help you lead. See? I was liking you, Jethro, until you told me I had to share my shine. You told me I got to let people get my credit when you know I got a Superman syndrome. I don't even like doing nothing if I don't get no credit. And now you talking about share my credit with other people. But then watch this. If that wasn't bad enough, you told me to put what I got in me in them. So now I feel competitive. And now I'm dealing with geriatric intimidation. Because I'm feeling my futility and I know my season will not be perpetual and I see other folk coming around me, which is why, here comes a cheap plug, I wrote a book called Multiplying Your Mantle and Not Just Your Ministry. Because it's not a legacy if it ends with you. And the one thing each of you can say about me is I try my best to give you everything I have. Because I'm trying to finish empty. And I'm trying to put my spirit in you, put my knowledge and my wisdom inside of you. Because I'm expecting you not to be selfish and for you to go put it in somebody else. That's how we create legacy. But now, Moses, here's what you got to do. You got to be willing to let them come. I'm going to deal with these things because God said ain't no more time. I see how you pacing like God said ain't no more time. But here's what you got to do. You got to be willing to identify inefficiencies, which means everything doesn't need to be restructured. Some things do. But if you go on a tangent and just, as they say, on a tear, Pastor Jay, and just tear everything down, you will end up replacing stuff that was still relevant. So you have to forensically go in and determine decisively what should remain and what should be rejected. And that's hard because it takes applying myself. It takes reading. It takes studying. It takes communicating. And I'd rather, watch this, especially in the Chat GPT age, just tell Chat, I want to restructure. Chat don't know nothing about your business. It doesn't know about your ministry. It doesn't understand the dynamics. It doesn't understand the personalities. And Chat say, fire everybody. Watch this. And because you don't take the time to separate yourself from it, you stand up and start teaching, and we're going to fire everybody. And now you have removed things that were efficient under the guise of inefficiency. Make sense? Number 2, build systems and delegation layers, which means, guys, you've got to come up with strategies that can become systems, which means you got to come up with a detailed plan that can be relevant for the time and ultimately sustain itself and begin to reproduce itself as a system. And these systems are not sacred, and they are not divine, which means they're subject to change at any time, because systems are for people, and people are constantly changing. Does that make sense? But then remove yourself from operational overload. Stop being the person who has to let everybody know, if I ain't here, don't nothing work. Everybody depend on me. I'm the one that make everything go. Why do you want to brag like that? Why would you want to be on a team where you're the only one can ball? You're not on a team. What you have is a halftime show. But then install structure, I just talked about that sustains growth, which means if I'm looking to constantly scale up and grow and expand my business or my ministry, I've got to put a structure in place that can handle the growth. Because contrary to popular opinion, guys, my 50-member structure can't handle my 100 members. And my 100-member structure can't handle the 200. What orders you were getting out when you were small cannot effectively, the system, handle the enlargement and the expansion that you're either experiencing or hoping to scale up and experience. And what you have to do is not wait till you get big to be big. You got to act big while you're small. And you've got to put processes in place. Does that make sense? So here's my reflective question, and I'm done. I won't go to the third one. Here's my reflective question. Okay. Now, say this with me. Say, am I leading? Or am I managing dysfunction? Woo! Did you hear that? Do you know dysfunction can be repeated for so long until it feels like normalcy, and you become a functioning dysfunctional? And it's hard, B. It's hard, superstar. It's hard, Cam, to challenge my dysfunction when I've been around people for so long who's just as dysfunctional as I am, and who's never made me aware of my dysfunction and told me I've got to change my dysfunction if I'm going to properly function. And when someone confronts me, it doesn't feel like change, it feels like conflict. Because they're trying to make me better, but I'm becoming bitter because I have fallen out of love with better. Because all I know is dysfunction. It's so bad, Jesus will walk up on you while you are sitting in a place for 38 years and ask you, do you want him to help you? And you'll start making excuses like, I ain't got nobody. I'm in John 5. Not understanding that he, by his own admission, said, the reason I can't ever get in this pool is while I'm coming, somebody gets ahead of me. Hold on, B. Not you, B. That B. Hold on. You telling me you can move? No, I ain't say that. Yeah, you did. Because you said, why you coming? Ain't no preachers in here yet. Because y'all still looking at me like I'm making up a story. Ain't no Bible readers in here. He said, while I'm coming, someone gets in front of me. So no, Pastor Jay, it's not that he can't move. He's just lazy. And he got mad because somebody kept moving faster than him. And instead of him gaining momentum to move faster, he just resorted to inertia. And now everybody bypassing. And now you're starting to think something's wrong with the environment when the truth be told, something wrong with you. That's all I have, y'all. That's all I have. Listen, were you blessed today?